Dr. Muru, do your tang, man. Woo!
Do your thing, do your thing, your thing.
Welcome to DoYourThingBoxing.com. This is my weekly blog ending for March 26, 2013. I want to thank everybody for joining me at Do Your Thing Boxing. I'm your host, Dr. Muru. Now, I want to first of all start off with this weekend we had the 65th annual 2013 Golden Gloves. It was a wonderful show held at the Raymond G. Community Center. A lot of good fights, show bouts, a lot of novices, opens. It was an outstanding 3-day event that lasted from Thursday to Saturday, and I definitely want to thank everybody who supported and showed up. I also want to shout out the champions. First, we have at 108 pounds, we have Angelo Valencia that won. At 114, we have Mathew Guerrero. Also at 123, we have Jose Ozario. At 132, we have Jesus Hogue. At 141, we have Abel Mendoza. At 152, we have Brian Mendoza. 165, Pedro Martinez. 178, Omar Fajardo. And at super heavyweight, we had Zain Bimbala. So I want to congratulate all you guys on your winning the Golden Gloves, and I wish you luck in your regionals in Denver, Colorado. It's going to be an outstanding tournament. I feel New Mexico has a strong team, and I'm expecting a couple of you guys to advance out to the Nationals and do your thing and represent New Mexico that way. Now, coming this weekend, it's fight weekend, as you know, and I'm going to do some predictions for this fights coming up. So first, what we're going to start off is March 30th. On HBO, we have the rematch between Mike Alvarado versus Brandon Rios. Now, the first fight was a Fight of the Year candidate. Definitely an all-out war. Great fight. I definitely enjoyed it as a fan. And coming to this fight, what I'm expecting basically is hopefully we'll see Mike Alvarado this time be able to keep Brandon on the outside and box his way to a victory. But I doubt that's going to happen seriously. I really believe that Brandon Rios is going to be much stronger. Now, this is his second fight at 140. He already showed that he could hurt Mike Alvarado. I'm expecting the fight to start off as a boxing match and turn into a brawl. By 8 or 9 rounds, it's going to be an all-out war. And I'm going to stick with Brandon Rios for a late round stoppage or possibly a decision. But if Mike Alvarado can box, he'll win this fight. But my pick is Brandon Rios by late round stoppage or decision. Now, March 29th at the Wool Warehouse, Joe Chavez from Chavez Promotions is having his card, and the headline is going to be Josh Pitbull Torres versus Jose Guero Sanchez. Now, this is going to be a war. On paper, I know it looks like a mismatch, but don't believe what the paper looks like. It's going to actually be much better than that. I believe that this is a win-win situation for Guero. He has everything to win, nothing to lose. If he wins, he's on top. If he loses, he lost to the Pit, so there's no shame in that. For Pit, he don't gain much for this fight, as I said before. So this is just going to be business as usual. I'm expecting the first 4 rounds to be an all-out war, basically. I know Pitt's going to box, but this Guero's going to keep coming nonstop. And the first 4 rounds is going to be very interesting. As the fight develops later, I'm expecting the experience of Pitt to take over. And what's going to happen is I believe he's going to stop Guero in the late rounds, or he's going to win on decision. But he's been there 8 rounds before, and this is definitely going to be a good showing and a great show between both of these fighters. Now, the co-main event is going to have Yordan Perez Hernandez versus Mathew Baca. Now, Mathew Baca is a good, talented kid. He's 19 years old. You know, he's a very good body puncher, but he's stepping up to Yordan, who everybody in the boxing circles will tell you is on another level. Talent-wise, you cannot match the talent. And I'm definitely going to go with Yordan for this one to definitely take the victory. I know Mathew Baca is already penciled in for May 11th on the Frescas card to fight. I'm going to tell you this. My prediction is there will be a rematch May 11th with Mathew Baca trying to revenge his loss or avenge his loss against Yordan Perez Hernandez. So I got Yordan by points or a decision in this one. Now, we're also going to have the females on this card. And there's going to be a rematch between Amanda Boom Boom Crespin and Naomi Dennisson. Now, Dennisson is 2-0 against Crespin. She's won the first 2. The second one, it could have went either way. But what I'm really expecting is going to be a battle of who's going to want it more. Naomi Dennisson's a taller fighter, so as long as she uses her jab and her reach and keeps Amanda on the outside, she should be able to win this fight. But it's hard to win somebody 3 times in a row. And Amanda's been training with Dourtingboxing, so I know Fidel Sr. has her ready for this fight, so I expect her to get in the inside. They both have a common opponent in Brittany Cruz. Brittany beat Amanda but lost to Dennisson. So you're definitely going to have to look out for this one right here. What I'm expecting is Amanda Boom Boom Crespin to win this fight, but on a controversial decision. A lot of people are going to think it went the other way, could have went either way, but at the end of the day, I'm going for Amanda Crespin. Now, also on the card is going to have Jason Sanchez versus Suanitu Hogue. Now, I just think personally, Jason Sanchez is on another level. He's one of the best prospects coming out of New Mexico. Of all the Sanchez brothers, he's the best one there. Sometimes the little brother picks up off the older brother's mistakes, and I think he's going to stop Hogue in this one. I can't say what round, but I do expect a spectacular knockout, possibly knockout of the night. Now, that's going to be the results of my predictions for March 29th at the Wool Warehouse. Get your tickets while they last. Show up, support the New Mexico boxing. Now, on the next day, March 30th at the Crown Plaza, we're going to have the Johnny Tapia Presents series. Now, they've been holding a lot of fights at the Crown Plaza. The main event's going to host Hector and Huracan Munoz versus Benardo Guereca. Now, Guereca stopped Hector in the first fight. At that time, Guereca was, been there a little longer, had a better experience. But right now, Hector's on another level. He's one of the best pressure fighters in the game. He's been training for the last month out there with Mike Alvarado, getting prepared, helping him prepare for Rios. And he's been in a better fighters than Guereca. I think he learned a lot since that last Guereca fight. It's going to be a telephone booth fight. They can sit there and draw a line, and no one's going to pass it. They're just going to be at each other. It's going to be exciting for the crowd. Possibly could be fight of the night for the weekend. But I'm expecting Hector to stop Guereca if he's not in the top fit shape or win on points. But at the end of the day, Hector's going to be too much for Guereca, and it's going to be a good win on the win con and a good revenge for the loss that he suffered before. Now, the co-main event's going to have Christian Cabral versus Donald Sanchez. Now, a lot of people are definitely looking forward to this fight. Christian's a good guy. I like the kid a lot. He's always been respectful to me, so it's hard to root against him. But at the same time, Donald Sanchez is a beast. He's the king of the cage, 40-plus fights as an MMA fighter, undefeated as a boxer. They have a common opponent in Michael Coca Gallegos. Now, in that fight, Christian fought to a draw where many people thought he lost, where Donald clearly beat Coca. So, what I'm thinking, and just off the people in the gyms and the talk around town, is that Donald Sanchez is going to be too big for Christian. Christian's going to have to box, and keep away from a brawl. But the Puma got a heart of a champion. So he's going to mix it up in a brawl. Once he sets it and starts brawling with Donald, I think that's where he's going to take a chance of taking some serious punishment. And I hate to see this for a young prospect to get pushed a little fast. If he pulls this off, it's going to be a great victory for him. But as right now, I'm picking Donald Sanchez, possibly by KO, but definitely on decision. Now, the next fight we have is Adrian, the Mexican monster Lopez, versus Ricky Villafuerte. Now, Villafuerte fought against CG Shabazz in his pro debut, and both of their pro debuts back in December. He was stopped in the second round, but in that fight, he showed nonstop pressure, came forward, and definitely put it all into the ring to try to win. Against Adrian Lopez has some of the fastest hands I've seen on a big guy. He's definitely schooled, has the experience. I'm expecting him to stop Villafuerte in the third or fourth round, which is going to give Adrian Lopez the win. It's going to be a good showcase bout for him to display his talent and what he has. The fight after that is going to be Paul Castillo Jr., the Prince, versus Diego Batista. Now, I don't know much about Batista, but I know he lost his pro debut and Roswell against a 43-year-old. He's the bigger fighter. He fought at 140 pounds, where Paul is more of a 130, 135 pounder. So Diego is going to have the height and advantage. But at the end of the day, Paul's on another level. He has great talent, great potential, great upside on him. I'm expecting him to either stop Diego or win on points, but I'm definitely going to go with Paul on this one. Now, those are my results. Well, for my predictions, actually, coming up for this weekend's fights, go support both fighters. Fight cards, Crown Plaza, there's always entertaining. After that, there's going to be a concert with Nina Sky, Al Huracan, and other people. So definitely the tickets for the fight will get you into that. So it's a great event. There's going to be a great event on the 29th as well. So if you can make both of them, definitely support the New Mexico boxing here in New Mexico, because, you know, we have some great pros, great amateurs, and it's a great thing going on. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the amateurs. Now, going in effect, what I'm hearing is April 1st in 2013, USA Boxing is going to go to a new scoring system. No longer it's going to be points, but it's going to be pro style, 10-9 rounds. So basically, these rounds are going to be judged off clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. So I think it's a wonderful thing for the boxing and the amateurs. You have a lot of these amateurs who all they throw is 1-2 punches nonstop, which is really not boxing. All they're doing is getting themselves in shape and throwing 1-2 and winning on points. Boxing is more about skill and technique. This pro scoring is going to show more skill and technique for some of these fighters. What happens is a lot of these amateurs are good in the amateurs, but once they turn pro, they get murdered because they have no technique and skills. Where some of the fighters who are not good in the amateurs show really good in the pros because they have the pro style. So I think this is going to benefit the amateurs. It's going to benefit the pro game. It's going to definitely do a lot for the boxing here, not just in New Mexico, but throughout the United States and the world. So I have a challenge. Coaches need to now teach their fighters to sit on their punches, set up techniques, use angles to be able to box. They need to sit there and get away from the amateurs. So this is going to show the coaches who are really good coaches and the coaches who really don't belong to their coaches. Now, the boxers also going to have to step it up. None of this 1-2 pity pat stuff. You have to sit on your punches and land clean and effective punches and show who could dominate. Now, a lot of these fighters, like I said, all they do is get in shape, non-stop 1-2, 1-2, and that's not boxing. Judges now are going to have to change their whole thought, rearrange it and change it. They're going to have to now get off the pity pat and stop clicking for every punch and look for the clean, effective punches that land and go on to 10-9. This is going to be a really great thing. I see a lot of amateur fights where someone gets a knockdown and all they do is gain a point when it should be a 10-8 round. Some fights should go to one fighter, but one fighter did enough in the first round and wins it. Now it's going to be judged the way it should. So I think there's a lot of great things on the upside of USA Boxing, and I'm definitely in support of the 10-point ruling of the scoring. Now, another thing that's going on I want to talk upon is it's called Cite Your Source. Recently, I wrote some articles on the Golden Gloves that basically I've seen some results that were used. And what I'm going to say is this. If you're going to use anybody's material as far as results, definitely get permission. Cite your source. There's a lot of great local websites out here, and it's not fair for somebody to post results or share results with another website without citing the source. Now, at the same time, you know, we work a lot hard on this. You know, there's good boxing websites, so just make sure that you cite your source. If you're going to use something from my website, I have no problem if you're using it. Make sure that you give me mention my name, Yoruba Muru, Dakmu, Do Your Ting Boxing. Just make sure if you're going to use it, just mention my name. I have no problem with it. You give me a call, email me whenever you like. I'm not trying to work against any websites, but work with websites. We need to support each other. It's a local community out here, and it's easy to bicker and fight with each other, but it's a lot easier if we could work together. And that's all I got to say is if you're going to use anybody's work from any of the websites, not just mine, any websites, any results, cite your source before you post it, because at the end of the day, it's lazy journalism, and you got to give credit to the people who are working hard to cover the amateurs and the pros in the state. Now, last but not least, Sunday, we had a car wash for the Deming team. They're the old school boxing out of Deming. They recently lost their gym. It was burnt down. So we had a car wash to raise money for them and donations. I want to thank Team Old School, Manuel Naya's team, for coming and bringing supplies at the Team Tapia Boxing Academy. Now, it was a great event. The thing about it is I have to critique, is a lot of boxing clubs said they were going to show up. They're going to show support. Now, if this happened to your guys' gym, it burnt down or something happened, you would expect us to be able to help you, especially we're doing a car wash and different things. So I expect other teams to be able to support each other because this is all we got. My biggest critique is for the state's president of the USA Boxing. I'm not going to mention his name, but you know who the president is of the USA Boxing for the state of New Mexico. I think it was very unclassy for him to not even show up to the car wash and support. You had the chief officials there that didn't even have to be there for the car wash, washing cars and drying them. And I got to give props. One of them is Dominic Winchell. I give you props, brother, because you didn't have to be there on that cold Sunday washing cars to raise money for another boxing club that's not even in our city. And all I say is this: we need to support each other, from the little amateur to the big pro to the small official to the big official to everybody. This is a boxing family, and this is all we got. If we can't support each other and help each other out, then boxing's not going to grow for New Mexico. So that's pretty much it from our weekly blog ending March 26, 2013. If you have any questions, you can email me at doyourtingboxing@gmail.com. You can leave a message on my blog, or you can contact me through Facebook. And I apologize, my eyes are a little bit running. I have a cold, been a little bit sick, especially with these allergies. So if you guys out there suffering from this cold, then you know what we're going through. It's kind of rough out there. And support the amateurs, support the pros, support Do Your Ting Boxing, support the other websites out there, because they're doing a very good job. And at the end of the day, thank you very much for paying attention and staying tuned to doyourtingboxing.com.
Dr. Muru, do your tang, man. Woo!
Do your thing, do your thing, your thing.